gang, Dennis Simpson here from the beautiful shores of Lake Desoto. In a March day, March 16th actually. Boy, how the times have changed. I want to come to you today and wishing you a happy 5th anniversary. Yeah, let that sink in. I'll come back around in just a minute. But it's been 5 years. No, wait, it's actually been 6. You say, Dennis, what on earth are you talking about? Well, you see, my friends, about 6 years ago, I started a program called Hot Springs Village Venues. Yeah, in 2019, 6 years ago. How does that? Well, actually, I'd done some stuff before then. But what on earth possessed me? I'll drop in some clips. Maybe you've seen some. Wow, we went down to the studio down at John Cooksey's, down at Hot Springs Broadcasting Network, the Hot Springs Broadcasting Network. He was more than gracious all the time. Houston Pierce, we're shouting out to you, buddy. He was a 11th grader at the time that John and I took and helped train how to edit video, run sound. He's a child prodigy. He's not a child anymore because he's running sound for the Village Methodist and for the POA and many others. But all of that to say, that's been 6 years ago. That's been quite an interesting ride. That led to Mr. Cantrell reaching out to me and asking if I wanted to be a part of that. And then doing roughly 400 shows, about 380, something like that. Man, what a ride, huh? Yeah. And many of you have come along with me, and it's such a pleasure, such a pleasure. But I'm going to remind you what happened 5 years ago. But that's right, 5 years ago, the Health Services Department decided that COVID was a pandemic. And since the last pandemic was in the early 1900s, none of us really knew exactly what to expect. People walking around with masks on and going to baseball games, and I think the Spanish flu, I believe that was it. We were overdue, actually. I think it had been the better part of nearly 100 years. But so what's the pandemic to you? As I say, beep-bop, biddly-bop. Leave a message in the notes down below. I'd love to know what COVID meant to you, how it changed you. I heard some articles on the radio this last week about people saying that they went outside and rediscovered nature, that they reconnected. And I think those are great stories. I think they're fantastic stories. I think it's sad it takes a pandemic to put us in that position where we need to stop and smell the roses, you know? On that same note, had a friend this last week who was given the diagnosis that he had cancer. And because I have a radio program on Saturdays, HSV Radio, you're welcome to listen, 92.9 KVRE every weekend. I played the song Live Like You Are Dying. Live like you are dying. Because I think if the pandemic taught us anything, it probably should have taught us to live like we're dying. I had lunch this last week with Ike Eisenhower. Ike is a sponsor, absolutely great guy. I enjoy him as a person. And a lot of times that just doesn't come across on film. That's not a sin. It's just hard to get personality to come across the screen sometimes, if you know what I mean. So I met with him and we chatted a minute and we talked about how, personal connections are even more important these days. That to have a connection, a synapsis, something that clicks, that really works. Yeah. I actually, I had someone giving me some counseling about some of our videos, and I welcomed it. I wanted to know what they had to say. Excuse me. And she noted that in an age of AI-generated faces, voices, context, backgrounds. I mean, AI can make a lot of things. You've seen them. I'm sure you've seen some of the fakes on social media. But in an age of fakes, that reality and real is a lot more valuable these days. I mean, like priceless, you know? Really. Think about that. Think about how COVID changed you. Think about how you you maybe reformed your life. If I can, back to the song real quick, Live Like You're Dying. It's just hard for me to listen to. It says everything I want to do. I became a friend that a friend would like to have. Make that your goal this year. Be a friend that a friend would like to have. And maybe then going fishing wouldn't feel like such an imposition. Yeah, maybe. I encourage you, live like you're dying. Listen to that one. Let me tell you what it did to me in a weird way. For me, and for many of you watching and listening that are areas outside Hot Springs Village, the idea of closing down, sequestering, or quarantining, just locking down, is absurd. I can't do that. Now, I can't go to a large mass meeting. I can't get 500 people around me. Of course, I couldn't get 500 people around me most times anyway. But in rural Burbia, in the country, okay, I can't just quit going to the grocery store and have them think they're going to deliver everything. I can't think that Amazon's going to deliver everything to me. I can't just stop working. I heard somebody say one time about COVID that it broke the world into two classes. The executive class, who could afford to stay home and just do whatever they needed and protect their health, and the rest of us that had to keep working. Yeah. Diane's a CPA, never missed a day. I'm an IT guy and a telephone guy and video here. Literally never missed a day. Funny, we didn't get COVID till we went to Spain, if you know what I mean. I had a friend today, just today, that had cold-like symptoms, and we were talking about Diane, and I thought we had streptococcus. We had like a strep infection, strep throat. And we had been taking antibiotics and trying to clear it up and working quite nicely. And this friend said, well, she had some of those same symptoms, and she said she was going to go to the walk-in clinic. Great idea. She called me back and said, I've got COVID. Really? I mean, it's a crazy world we live in, people. Tell me how COVID changed your life. Let me, excuse me, tell you a sideline story. You know, we have rentals here. And 5 years ago, we were okay, but we still wanted to make sure we were going to be not eating beanies and rice and beanies at night. So we were working really hard to keep these Airbnbs full. And about 6 to 8 months after this date, 5 years ago, our governor issued a mandate that said you couldn't go anywhere and stay anywhere unless you had to. And the previous administration for the POA, Miss Leslie Nally, said she was going to, quote, notify the gates. Do what? To which I wondered why I was on this email at all. And I said, what are you going to notify the gates of? That they're supposed to stop people from coming and going? They're going to suspend people at the gate and not give them access to their own property or property that they rented? Anyway, it was a mess. And you remember it was a mess. I remember it was a mess. Oh, goodness. 5 years ago. Yeah. Please give me your COVID memories. Hopefully they're long and far, far away. I remember, let's see. It's going to be about 2 weeks from now. It was the very end of March. Diane and I went to Applebee's. And we didn't think anything about it. It was going to be, end of March. And as we walked in, we were told this was the last night that Applebee's was going to be open for the foreseeable future in Hot Springs and nationwide. And we were like, why is that? Well, because of the COVID-19. And because that means we can't come get out and eat. We're not going to work. We're going to shut down the economy. We're going to, how are we going to do that? And think we're probably still asking that question. Lord knows China was asking how they were going to do that. I tell you what, let me ask a question. I'm just off the cuff here. Do you think as a nation, as a world, we're not blaming anybody in particular, are we too cautious? I have a friend who's a airline steward, and old Vic, hey Vic, that travels the world. And I was making a comment on social media that, yeah, whatever, like they're going to have a lockdown in China. And he said, you don't understand. They will lock it down. It will be nobody in, nobody out, stop it. And that's what they did. It was biblical. Literally, that would be the word. But 5 years ago, where were you? COVID declared a pandemic. Hey, listen, those are the questions for the day. I want to come back to you and ask some other stuff real quick. And I want to quit coughing because I got this stinking cold. But I want to ask you or let you know we've got new sponsors coming up. We've got a whole new group of interviews coming up. Let me know what you want to talk about. I have this today as we speak. Tomorrow. Miss Liz Robbins from the Garland County Historical Society is going to be the coronated queen of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And we have the St. Patrick's Day show that you've seen there. So if you get a chance, man, that's always a lot of fun. It really is. Now that's happening tomorrow, so you may not see that. You'll see Monday the 17th. And I want to cut to the controversy real quick, people, and I want to answer any of these questions and get all this controversy out of the way. Rhode Island does not have the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. You heard me. No, Rhode Island, Little Warren, Rhode Island does not have the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade. They have the shortest parade for St. Patrick's Day, but it's not on St. Patrick's Day. Gotcha. That's the kicker there. Oh, and yesterday, Diana and I went to Y Mountain. I hope to get some more of that video to you. I got some drone shot there from this year. Still not fully fleshed out. And I want to remind you, Diane and I travel, and we're going to be talking with Troy and his buddy here in just a minute, doing some more travel shows very, very soon. Got a call from Fat Possum Farm. We're going back out there. Those are great guys. They're getting ready. Second week of March, they're getting ready to go plant some watermelons soon. Yep, they're getting ready to make sure. I have heard repeatedly not to plant before April the 1st in Arkansas. Like I'm an agronomist, I have no idea. I'm just a guy who talks on TV, on podcast, radio. I'm on a screen a lot of time. Yeah. And wanted to talk about more about travel here in just a minute. Diane and I are going to be going to Alaska. This is a big bucket list thing for her. And it's all I want to go. I mean, it's not like I'm, dragging me kicking and screaming. But we're ready to get out and travel. And it's not revenge travel. It's bucket list travel. Many of you have seen me and heard me at a lot of times. I've got a story for you. And I told this to Ike this last week, and he truly enjoyed. Who's on vacation again this week, Ike? See you in Cancun. True story, off of the radio. Husband and wife go to the doctor, do a checkup, have some concerning test. They call the gentleman and his wife back, and they said, look, it's not dire, but it's fatal. You will not get out of this. You've got about 6 months. You're going to have a good standard of living in that time. You're going to have a good quality of life. But after 6 months, you're going to go down very quickly. And we just wanted to let you know. And the husband and wife, who I think have a great attitude, this is a true story. This is not a hypothetical. And they looked at each other and went, well, okay, it is what it is. And the wife said, well, we've had insurance for years and years, and I'm in good health, and we're not going to be broke, but I'll just have to watch my pennies, And they both came to the conclusion that they would pick up their bucket list, completely dust them off, and do exactly what they had always wanted to do. Because literally, there is no time like the present, my friends. That said, they got on a cruise. They cruised to Europe. They started their Europe tour. They went through all these different places. They were all over the world, in and out of cell phone reception. I mean, they had sold everything back home. They sold their car, they sold their house, they sold everything. Because when they came back with him, that was going to be it, And she was going to have to try and pick up and start a new life after he passed away. That long, silent walk by yourself, as they call it sometimes. So they got back home, and they were eager to meet back with the doctor, and the doctor had been calling. They had numerous messages on the answering machine. And he said, well, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I've had 6 months. I've had the time of my life. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do. I don't have any reason to complain. I've had a good life. And I've got a wonderful mate who helped me do all these things. It's been a good life. And they went to see the doctor, and he said, okay, doc, you say I've got 6 months, and it's been about 6 months, so it's going to be a rapid decline after this. And the doctor was just pale white. And he said, we have really been trying to contact you. And the guy says, why? And he said, we had the wrong test results. You're fine. You're very healthy. Let that sink in a minute. What would you do? They sold everything. They disrupted their lives. They changed their home. They sold their car. They moved and traveled. They did all those things they said they were going to do because there was wrong information on a test report. Well, I would sue and I would, nope. The doctor went over, looked at the man and said, I'm so sorry that we've made this terrible mistake, which doctors usually don't do. The couple looked at each other and began smiling. The man reached out, took the doctor's hand, shook his hand, and said, thank you. Thank you. Befuddled, the doctor said, why are you thanking me? He said, we would have never have done all those things on that list. We would never have sold our properties. We would never have had such a dramatic change in our lives, which is what we should have done. But we would never have done that. My friends, I cannot say it strongly enough. In light of things I have seen lately and test results I've heard from friends, live like you are dying. For Hot Springs Village Venues, Dennis Simpson, we will see you next time.
And talking about the sweet time, I asked him when it sank in that this might really be the real end. How's it hit you when you get that kind of news? Man, what'd you do? And he said, I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Blue Manchu. And I looked deeper and I spoke sweeter and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. He said I was finally the husband that most of the time I wasn't, and I became a friend would like to have. And all of a sudden going fishing wasn't such an imposition, and I went 3 times that year. I lost my dad. Well, I finally read the good book, and I took a good long hard look at what I'd do if I could do it all again. And then I went skydiving, I went Rocky Mountain climbing, I went 2.7 seconds a bull named Fu Manchu. And I loved deeper, and I spoke sweeter, and I gave forgiveness I've been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. Like tomorrow was a gift and you got eternity to think about what you do with it. What did you do with it? What did I do with it? What would I do with it?
Hot Springs Village Venues is brought to you by KVRE at 92.9 and streaming worldwide on iHeartRadio. KVRE is your family-owned local hometown radio station, so be sure and tune in for live local programming, news, sports, and information every day at 92.9. Beehive Hangout. Hot Springs Village Beehive Hangout has been an institution since the day it opened, serving great fresh food, wonderful music, games, trivia, and a cold glass of something to drink anytime. Come by and experience the relaxed atmosphere and great food at the Beehive Hangout today at 220 Minorca in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, or call 501-777-8176. You can also set up reservations at beehivehsv.com to reserve your table. HSV Radio. HSV Radio is heard every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. or streaming on any of the major platforms. Hot Springs Village Radio is an eclectic mix of music, motivation, great music history, and Saturday morning fun. Join us every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., 92.9. And brought to you by the Hot Springs Village Voice, Hot Springs Village only newspaper, also serving all of Saline and Garland County. Your local newspaper for local events. No one else has more local news than the Hot Springs Village Voice about the Hot Springs Village area. Sign up today at hsvvoice.com or call 501-623-6397. Again, that's 501-623-6397. Located at 3576 North Highway 7 in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, just in front of Walmart. Brought to you by Gotta Go Vacations. www.gottagovacations.com. Troy Woods and Patrick Cunningham at 501-204-4805 can help you with any of your travel needs. Patrick and Troy have been airline stewards for decades, and their experience and their travel can serve you well. GottaGoVacations.com, again, that's GottaGoVacations.com, can help you book the perfect tour for you, whether it's a riverboat cruise up the Mississippi or the Rhine. These guys are who you need to call. 501-204-4805. Troy or Patrick, 501-204-4805. GottaGoVacations.com. D&D Village Properties. Hot Springs Village only short-term rental with over 2,100 five-star reviews. All properties are lakefront. They include complimentary kayaks, hot tub, pet-friendly, and a stunning view of the lake. Visit DD Village Prop today for your vacation getaway.